everybody. We're back again.
Hi.
Trans Gurus here, and we're here to talk to you about our internal vision. So, with that being said, let's kick it right off over to Shannon over here, and let's hear about what is the internal vision that you have for yourself. When you think about what you see inside your own mind's eye, what comes to life?
Who you see sitting in front of you right now. Because we are a product of our own self-perception. And that's the essence of being human. And it's interesting that we're talking about this tonight, as I usually engage in an hour or so every day of like self-study. You know, I listen to Alan Watts and other philosophers, and the power of imagination and the power of belief and the power of self. And so our humans were very unique in that our mind, whatever, we have imagination, we have creativity, vision, internal vision. So in our mind, there's like, so a way that people can understand, we have like an internal movie projector, and we can write the play, write the characters, write everything, create this whole story in our mind, and then the degree in which we believe in our own story, the degree in which we believe that we have the ability to create our own story and then manifest it, that higher degree of belief, then therefore the higher the vibration, the higher the likelihood of it becoming reality. And what's interesting in my own story, when I hear these folks, these philosophers talk about this, and then I apply it to my own evolution, I'm here to tell you that it's for real. Whatever the person that is sitting at this table right now is a person I envisioned many years ago. And also, one of the key components is patience. So we have an internal vision for ourselves, believe in that vision, believe that we can achieve it. We may not have the recipe at that moment, but things unfold. It takes a lifetime to live a lifetime. And to try to, like, we live in a world where I need it now. Amazon delivers the shit the next day. You know, life doesn't work that way. We have a vision for ourselves and then allow the journey to unfold. And we will be given, we will receive results, or we will grow in increments that are digestible to our own self. It's like if we were given all the secrets of the universe, or if we were to acquire everything at this moment, we would explode, or you know, what the hell would we look forward till tomorrow?
Or like, what if you wanted something and then it turned out it like it happened right now, but it actually was bad for you. Like, sometimes like people like want to kill their partner, you know.
Oh my God.
What if it actually happened? You know, like, so that's just a joke.
Rough day.
Oh no,
I do believe. I do believe that we do have. And okay, what we believe, if we believe it enough, we'll believe it into reality.
Yes.
And I know that I have my ancestral spirits are behind me. I just know it. All those who have passed before me are behind me. And all those that are in front of me are expecting that same of me in the future. So the power of belief, our own internal vision of ourselves, humans were malleable, and we can create a physical we can create ourselves in physical form as such as our spirit. And so the physical presentation of this person in front of you is a representation of my spirit in my mind. And so therefore, here I am. Christian.
That was pretty good. We should have you go first again.
Yeah.
I really like
I
that.
love
That
it.
was pretty very spiritual. Very nice.
Really?
That was really like otherworldly. Like, and you know, as I move forward, you know, I guess, spiritually, I'm like 50 years old, but physically, I guess that makes so much sense. Like, because what you are spiritually is what you are physically. So I feel like, I can hang with people that are older than me, more, experienced than me. I'm not talking about this group, we're all around the same age here.
Yes,
And
I'm 25.
so, but I feel like inside, like I'm, a lot more experienced than what my age presents, and
You're an old soul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just wrote that down.
and that would be probably a good topic to talk about one day too. But for me, like I tend to look at, as I'm developing the internal image I have of myself, my internal belief, all of that is getting more and more defined, and then sometimes the journey has been completed on whatever path I was on, and then it's time to veer off to another position or path, and then now it's like a whole new world has been opened up, and the door has now unleashed all these different scents and flavors and tastes, and I get to, you walk through the mall and there's 1,000 colognes and perfume smells, and then it's like you get hit in the face, like boom, you're just overwhelmed, and that's kind of what happens to me every so often as I'm growing and developing as a human being and learning who I am. And so I guess to relate this back to my own experience, I can remember ever since I was a kid, I had an internal vision of myself, and my internal vision as a kid is manifesting now as I'm an adult, because I hung on to it and clung on to it so intensely, and I always with these emotions, I paired it with, and my vision, I love how you said, Shannon, that there's a movie production in your head, and you get to create this visual, and then you slowly get to working on all the bits and pieces and stuff, and as it keeps growing, you keep editing it forward, and that's how I did it in my life. I was able to see that inside I was a man. I was everything opposite to what I was presented physically. My spirit was so man that my mom always got frustrated when she would try to take the Rubik's Cube of Christian and try to twist it to the way she wanted it to be, or anybody in my family, and you just can't change what's already been done. You can't change in the spiritual. You can't do that, and there was always a clashing for it. So growing up, I always had that vision of me being, the guy that hung out with a bunch of guys and played sports, and the way I treated women. Eventually, when I had the guts to go for that kiss one day, I always had a visual inside my own head of what that movie looked like, and how I wanted to feel when I experienced it, how it felt to actually get there, how euphoric it was. And when I finally got there, it was a lot better experience than what I could have ever imagined. So I hope that brings some clarity, and I'll pepper in some more. And I'm inspired by you lovely ladies. Who wants to go?
I'll go next. What was the subject again?
Our internal selves, my dear.
Our internal selves. Now think about that. Our internal selves. You're seeing external right here. What's behind our eyes could be a totally different organism or whatever you want to call it than what you're able to see on the outside. So, with that being said, do we even really know what our internal vision is? Here's the thing, put it out there to you. Close your eyes, take some deep breaths, put yourself into not a hypnotic state, but a relaxed state, like as if you're hypnotizing. And then, what is the image that you see of yourself? Throughout our lives, it's about awareness and being in tune with ourselves. So if I'm in tune with myself, how do I get in tune with myself if I don't check it out? It's like, how do I know there's oil in my car unless I pull the stick out and check it? Well, it's the same thing with you. Internally, we get so wrapped up in work and so wrapped up in every day and so wrapped up in the game of life. And how many times do you really stop and internalize? Am I doing what I want? Am I happy where I'm at? Do I see myself doing this forever? And how long is this path going to take me down a different place? Is this the path that I have to take to get to the next path? How do I see myself today? How do I see myself tomorrow? What is my envision of who my essence is? And if you don't really know, it's like people that don't write their goals down. If you're successful, and maybe you don't know where you go. I've heard statistics, I don't know, that something like 87% more, 97% more, that if you write your goals down and you read them every day, you're more likely to achieve them. Well, if you don't know who you are inside, it's kind of hard to have all the externals. But you see, subconsciously, when you know who you are inside, without even having to be conscious and focused, you can just we were talking about this the other day. When you subconsciously know who you are, when things happen in the real world, your reactions will be that of a subconscious belief of who you are. But if you don't know who you are, who knows what's going to come out of your mouth? Who knows what you're going to say? Who knows where that path is going to take you? And if you're just on a journey, it's like, if you want to be successful, if you got a roadmap, 7-Eleven is 2 blocks and make a right, whereas if I had to go to 7-Eleven and didn't have a roadmap, I might drive around for a day and a half before I found it. Maybe never find it. Well, what I'm saying is, part of your internal and knowing who you are is a major piece in the puzzle of your roadmap. Having the directions where you want to go is another part of your roadmap. But you see, if you have a car and you only have 3 tires on it, you're not going to go very far. Well, if you have, well, what I'm saying is, if you have goals, you have this, but you're missing one of the key components, you're not going to go very far.
Sure.
So the key is, I believe, first of all, you need to know who you are inside. Check that out often, and then do all your other things in life. And that's my 2 cents.
I think it's more than like 2 cents. Maybe
Like a quarter,
$1,000.
I think that's a consultation probably worth like $5,000.
Yeah, exactly.
If somebody was to really listen to that and write down all the things that we've all just said, they can skip.
Hold on 1 second. Let me give my address. My address is.
You can mail your checks too.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So, I really liked how you mentioned the self-reflection, Bonnie, every day. I think that's like, you know how you're supposed to take your medicine every day? That's our spiritual medicine. And some people say meditation, and they want to go do yoga, and some people need to go get a massage. Well, for my spirit, I have to constantly be reflecting every day. At some point during the day, I need to get in touch with myself and say, how did my day go? And what were the highlights? What were the things that I feel thankful for happening to me? That might have even been disguised as, something painful, and which is actually a blessing or a lesson or something that's going to develop me. What could I have done better? What did I like that other people did, so then I can now manifest more of that? What didn't I like, so I can now focus on the opposite, so I can manifest more of that? All these type of things that we reflect upon, it helps grow us. And if we're not aware of them, then we're kind of just going without a map. And 7-Eleven is going to take us a day or a week until we wisen up. So, thank you for that, Mike. That was really good.
Once again, the address is.
Yeah. Right over here. I'll collect it all. You know? We don't want any crazy people. You know, I'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you.
But, but who wants to go? And after that, let's see.
You go ahead.
Who's been inspired?
Well, I think we all have, but I'll go.
Sure.
So, first of all, I want to apologize to the audience. I hope my fan hasn't been too distracting. But right now,
We
I'm
love that
visualizing myself being, glowing and glistening and not sweating like a pig. The humidity here in South Florida can be really, really rough on me. So, excuse me. But anyway, everything that has been said, I'd like to just piggyback on, because I really do think that we create our image, we create the situations that we have in our life, we create the things that we have, we create everything. We are the creators. And and I say that to all the religious folks. Oh, see, the birds agree with me. But I say that to even the religious folks out there. I'll take something that's in the Bible and it says, created in his image. Well, the way I interpret that to be is that the almighty, omnipotent creator, divine energy source, the glue to this universe, has given each and every one of us the ability to create. We're mini creators of our own lives. And so I have done that for myself on so many different levels. And I think that we're works in progress, right? So like as you live life, like in the beginning you try and maybe you fail, or you're not as good. But then if you keep at it and you keep doing it, after a while you get better at it. And so like at a certain point, it's like, oh my gosh, I want this. Or, oh my goodness, I want to have a certain essence or persona. And you're able to create it. Now, the thing about creation, and I've learned that in my life, is that things don't necessarily happen like let's say you're visualizing tonight about something that you want to manifest. Tomorrow morning, maybe it'll happen, but 9 out of 10 it probably won't. Things have a way of unfolding and manifesting in its right and perfect timing. So things have manifested for me, and after it manifests, I'm like, oh my God, I wanted that. It was like I had worked on manifesting it and then forgot about it. And then when it manifested, like after the fact, I'm like, that's right, I wanted that, I got it. So another thing is, there's a saying, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. When you're manifesting, whether it's image, things that you want, life situations, you need to be clear and specific about what it is that you want. Like, even down to details. Like, really think about the things that you want to manifest and how. Now, the thing is that you don't want to limit yourself on the how, because see, the universe is our existence is a magical existence. And God universe has a way of taking our desires, things that we've like worked on and focused on and like worked towards, and manifesting it in ways that you would have never even dreamed of. So, that's very important to do. So I just want to, in closing, I want to say a nice way to tap into your inner being is there's a part of our essence called the third eye. And everyone can do this, no matter who you are, where you come from, what you have, your situations. You can take a moment and close your eyes and go into your third eye. It's right here. And you will see a color. You'll see a color. I always see violet and purple. That's like the color that I see. But you'll see whatever color you see, and that'll be your color. But it's a wonderful way to tap into your inner self, because it's like, really, our true self is not this. It isn't. It's our spirit. And I'll tell you one example of that. When I was very disfigured, and before I had, I guess some of y'all are saying, bitch, girl, you're still disfigured. But anyway, if you see before pictures, you'll see a difference. So when I was going through all of that, and I was starting to get my story out there, and I was on different shows and stuff, and, I had people writing me saying, I don't care how you look. You're so beautiful to me. I see your beauty. Like, it doesn't matter, like, your disfigured face and the lumps and the bumps. You're beautiful, Raji. And those messages that I received in those particular moments, it really brought it home for me. It was like, wow. Like, my body might not be exactly the way I want it, but my spirit is beautiful. And my spirit is the thing that's coming through, and people are connecting with that beauty. So on that note, and before I get too dramatic and start doing a table dance, Christian would like that, I think. Let me stop.
I just think we should make that another topic so that
Table dancing.
make sure people come specifically for that, and then we can,
You better have
I'll
your
collect the
dollars.
checks as well for that as well. But Raji, I'm so happy that you were able to explain all of that in this little like gift bag of like gold. I don't know what else to say. Like like that. Like, so what I took away from it was like especially when you said, like, I was like, yeah, like when you said we have to be careful of the situations we manifest, because it's eventually like it's gonna come true in some kind of capacity. So I really like embrace that idea, like not saying to always take ownership for every little thing that happens, because some things we just can't control.
Yeah.
But definitely,
Well, things you can control. Speed limit's 50, you're doing 75. You get a ticket. Don't be pissed that you got a ticket. You shouldn't have been going 75.
right.
It's the same thing in other things in life. What you do, what their consequences
Every
are,
action
has a reaction.
Right.
But the point is that, a lot of people set themselves up for all these different things, just like Christian's saying. Maybe that's when you look internal and you see yourself internal, you might change and not do things that perhaps bring on negativity in your life. That's all.
Sometimes we set ourselves up, put ourselves in predicaments that are against what are contrary to what we truly want. And if we're more on top of knowing what we are and who we are and what we stand for and what the things we want in our lives, then those predicaments will be easier to maneuver and navigate. And then we can say, hey, that's not a place I want. If this road right here is gonna take me here, and that's off the cliff. I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a U-turn. Or go this way or whatever. You can counter.
And Christian, I just want to say one last thing.
Yes.
Don't beat yourself up on thoughts, because, like, if I say to this viewing audience, don't think about a dog, guess what? Everyone is going to think about a dog, okay? Because that's how our minds work. The key is the negative thoughts you want to cancel out and you want to replace with positive ones, because we're all going to have negative thoughts. It's a human thing. It's how our brains work. But the key is to cancel it out, and then the positive thoughts, you want to push
them.
Energy behind it, emotion. That is the energy, because the thought is like a car and the emotion is like the gas for the car. So you know, like you can have negative thoughts. That doesn't mean it's going to manifest if you're not putting the emotion with it. But like, you know, it's so important. The thought is the car, the emotion is the gas for the car, and that's how manifestations work.
And staying
Yeah.
in the here and now, and not living in the future or living in the past, is also a big help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's power in the moment because yesterday is gone and tomorrow hasn't come yet. The only thing we have really is the eternal now, like right now. This is all we have right now.
Well, somehow I think that one has to have some kind of, you know, balance that you are living today. But, you know, you have to have your dreams.
Amen.
You have to look forward for something. I mean, throughout my life, if I may start,
Oh, yes. Please.
throughout my life, I had so many dreams. And you know what? I think most of them came true.
Amen.
Probably not all of them, but most of them came true. I do live in the present. It's every single day which matters. It's every single feeling that you have each day. It's matter, and the power of positive thinking and positive feeling is extremely strong, because you attract what you think and you attract what you feel. If you start feeling negativity, you are sure going to attract negativity. And it isn't, it's normal polar ways. But you do, when you imagine your inner self, you have to think about, where am I? What do I want to be? You can dream. Your dreams will come reality one day. Probably, as everybody has said already, not at the moment. It's not an Amazon delivery anyway. So,
Oh,
but
it's not fair.
But what is absolutely incredible is there's a right time for everything, and sometimes you have to go through some, difficult periods to appreciate the good ones. Sometimes you have to go through difficult days to make sure that when you've got everything that you want, you do it better. It's a learning process. It's a freaking learning process which never ends until you're dead. And you know what? Take it, because embrace it. It's your life. It's your inner self, which is pushing towards the outside. I believe very much in spiritism, and I believe as well in, being thinking and using the third eye when I can. I actually try to do it every night. When I'm in bed, I try to, to remake the world. And remake mostly myself, because you see, you can only remake the world by starting by yourself. And if you don't start here, nothing will change. So I always try to really rethink the world. And sometimes you've got difficult situations and difficult things. Hey, embrace them. The best will come afterwards. It's very important that you believe and that you embrace yourself and think and try to look at your spirit. I mean, how often do I try to go inside my spirit and try to learn from my spirit? Because I do think that the knowledge of my spirit is way bigger than mine. And we are not actually getting out of anybody else. I think that my spirit is pretty powerful. But you have to contact it. You have to know about it. In the present, yes, because it's when you do it. But you're putting a picture to yourself It's what I did all my life. And finally I got it. It took me a long time until I transitioned. I always knew what I wanted to be. And then one day I had the guts, I had the feeling, and I knew it was the right time to do it. I just knew it. It just came from internally, from myself inside. I had to do it now. And it's not because I didn't want to do it before. I tried, but there was society. You cannot do this, you cannot do that. And I was probably not so much in charge of myself. And I think first, if you want to be really in charge of yourself, nothing to do with transition, but in any situation, it starts by going into yourself, going inside your spirit, and try to get all everything which is there, because the potential is there. I do believe that we all came to this earth for a very specific and very good thing to do. There was a plan before. Sure. Try to find what your plan is, but I think somehow we were programmed to know our plan, but if we cannot get in touch with the programming, it just doesn't work.
Spit fire out.
It's
It just
burning
doesn't
up,
I
work.
know. It's like,
You're burning up,
Fire.
girl.
come on, keep going, keep going. Wait, I'm waving you on.
No, but you really have to get in touch with your masterwork, with your inner vision, with what you want to do, because that is the way to progress, that's the way to be yourself, and that is the way to realize what you always dreamed of. And by the way, be careful, because the day that you actually achieve what you've always dreamed of, you've got another challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Because don't forget, life is a journey,
It is.
and the journey always has new challenges and beautiful challenges. And please get challenges. Don't just sit down and do nothing. Get those freaking challenges, because that's what makes you grow. That's what makes you be better.
Has anybody ever had something worth having and it was just dropped out of the sky? Something that you always dreamt about, something that you can almost taste regret if you ever were to die and not have it?
Yep.
Well,
That happens to me all the time. How many times I was in my bed and said, oh, I really want to go to this place. And it didn't come next week. And all of a sudden, oh, you have to go to this place from the business. Or, oh, it happened to me all the time. All the time.
Like parking spaces.
Yeah, you are the good one with the parking
Yes,
space. But you've got a
that's right.
special what do you call that? Amazon.
There's always a parking space
Prime.
up front.
You've
I
got
learned-
Amazon Prime for parking spaces.
I got an Amazon Prime the other day. I went to Target, so Amazon and Target are working together in cahoots with each other. They gave me they told their valet to hurry up and move that car that was in the first spot. Boom, pulled right in, zippity doo dah, and I had the best time in the store, everything.
And all these things that we're talking about, this is all these things. They're all ingredients to achieve self-mastery.
Yeah.
But there's the glue that holds all these components together.
Oh yeah,
It's belief.
absolutely.
Man.
We must believe. And then the other is trust. The messages that Ella was talking about, and Raji and some of the other folks, that internal vision that we have for ourselves, that seed, that spirit. If we don't trust it, then we'll discount our own self. it is imperative that we trust our own instincts.
Absolutely. It's not only trust, but sometimes it has to be a little bit of a blind trust as well.
That's called faith.
Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes in life, you just have to trust where you're going and embrace what you are, whatever life brings you and what you dream, because that's what you want to achieve. And sometimes it doesn't come straight away, so you just have to have faith and you have to trust that it will come and never give up, because if you give up, it doesn't come.
That's so true. That reminds me of when I was in my 20s and I was working on some music. And I eventually got a single here in South Florida that was in 1997, was on the radio, and it did pretty good. But I remember I would go to this studio. It was the guy, he was a producer in Miami, and he had a home studio. And one time, this is before the single even got on radio, I was working on some music. And I looked, he had a map of the world in the booth, in the recording booth. And we were like working on some music. And in between a break, I was standing in the booth and I looked at the map and I said, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I just want to touch the whole world. And I remember saying that, and I said it so, like, it was just like my full beingness. And I looked at that map of the world, and like 20 something years later, I mean, my story went viral. And in a way, in an odd kind of way, the way that I would have least expected, I touched the world, because I was hearing from people in Africa and India and Australia and Europe and South America, literally all around the world. And I in that moment, it hit me. I was like, oh my God, I wanted this. I like claimed it, and I wanted it. And I remember the scene, me looking at the map of the world and just like saying it so passionate. Like I didn't say it out loud. I said it to myself because I didn't want anyone to hear me. But I just said, God, I just want to touch the world.
Well,
So
And
in,
you are
in
right
a way, it's this called the deja vu feeling, and this is very related, although it's not exactly the same thing. I've had many of these feelings as well. The feeling that, oh my God, I wanted that a couple of years ago. Wow. And sometimes it comes when you least expect it.
yes.
And I think those moments where it's organically least expected, like a relationship that just falls into place, or that job that just comes out of left field. That's what happened with my prior job, and most of actually all of my relationships I've ever gotten into were always just like
Out of left
at least
field.
yeah, like a divinely orchestrated rendezvous. It just kind of came in place, and I couldn't have planned it any more perfectly. But a couple years ago, the relationship that I had then, or the job that I had, just gotten, I wouldn't have been able to rendezvous at that point, because I wasn't transformed into the being. I wasn't evolved yet into the person I needed to be for all these different, all these different factors and variables that are required to be able to obtain successfully the thing that I always envisioned in my mind of what experience I wanted. It just wasn't there in me. It wasn't attuned yet. I wasn't on the same channel as that thing that I was trying to.
That is
Take
so
it.
no, because it's true. You have to be vibrationally equal to the desire. Like you can desire something, but if you're not
frequency,
yes, the frequency, the channel, like a radio channel. But when you said it, it like boom, like it just it that is so true. That is so true. The frequency has to
Be the
equal.
same.
It has to, yeah, you have to be on that same vibrational channel or frequency or
Right.
so. Oh my God.
And if you want something bigger, you have to keep you have to keep raising your energy. And I mean, it's almost like, imagine like water, like you're water. You're always gonna transform and move around. But if you're trying to climb that mountain, you have to collect your resources, and you have to transform and move up. Like, you can't just expect to stay down in the lowest level and then raise and climb the mountain and reach the, oh my god, the treasure chest on the mountain is up there at that altitude, longitude, and I'm going to use this map, and I'm going to get but I'm just going to stay in the water right here and kick back on my little
Yes.
floaty and just, I can see it. I see it in my mind's eye. It's right there, but I'm just going to stay right here.
People
How are you
that-
ever going to get there?
Oh my God! People that want to. What's that big mountain in Kashmir that everyone wants to? Oh, I can't remember. Himalaya. Yeah. People that want to do that and they want to go to the top, they have to prepare for that. Like, I couldn't just get on a plane and then expect that I'm going to climb this mountain. Like, you have to prepare and get yourself ready on so many different levels. And so that is, oh my God, that's powerful, and it's so true. It is so true. Prepare. Another example is people that hit the lottery and they get millions, and then like a few years later they're broke again. It's because the mentality is still a poor mentality, but they got all the money, but it's not equal. It's not vibrating in the same. So that's why a lot of people that hit the lottery end up broke again. Because their mentality isn't rich. It's not there. So that's another example. See what you do to me?
I sincerely hope that we win the lottery someday.
I think we already did.
Yes, we did in a way. We already
we already
did.
You all just get me going.
I know. I
Okay.
can't wait to go eat some
Good food. Yeah.
I think we pretty much time to wrap it up.
Yeah. So thank you,
Let's
everybody,
put a bow on it.
for joining us on this rampage of we just connected to something, right? We just tapped into some type of divineness right now. I feel it. So I hope that through the screen you'll be able to feel it too and get inspired in some way. And anybody have any closing thoughts? Now or forever hold your peace. We're holding the peace here because we're peaceful trans gurus.
We'll leave something for next week.
We're gonna leave you off with that. So, trans gurus out of here. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Love, peace, and blessings.